to do more questions for white people first. Do you want to hear some more questions?
Well, hold on, but before you, let me get ready. Let me just get this in my mouth.
This
well, he's really selling it over there.
That shitty Buzzfeed video that was going around with the...
That's what we're doing, buddy.
Oh, really?
We're already halfway in.
Are automatically more relatable than movies with people of color.
People of color have had to relate to white characters for all of cinematic history.
It's almost like they were minorities in somebody else's country watching their entertainment.
Why is Viola Davis the first black woman to win an Emmy for Best Actress?
Why aren't...
Because nobody likes black actresses.
I don't even know who
cares? It's just somebody... the point is, why did it take like 400 years for a black woman to win Best Actress? Because there's so few roles for them, because nobody in America wants to watch them, because you don't fucking relate to people that are that much different than you. Like, I don't relate to the black American experience, to the black American history.
And even less so a female. Like, there's
exactly.
I have absolutely no connection.
Like, that comes out, like, if you tell me 12 Years a Slave is on TV, I'm not watching it. I don't care.
Because I don't care, and two, it's not going to be fun.
It's not going to move me. If you put her into a mixture of characters that are white and other, like, I care even less. It's like, oh, this looks like nothing like the group of people I hang around with. This is what
you need to ask the Japanese filmmakers why they don't, include more.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, why aren't there more blacks?
Japanese in general, they don't include other races in anything they do, because good for them, because that's okay.
Are we talking about the same video? Because I was thinking about that Buzzfeed video where it's like questions white people have for other white people.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Oh, okay.
Let's play some.
I don't know, because I made it like 5 seconds in, and I was I get it. In different ways, you're all just saying, why did we suck so much?
Yeah.
I mean, for Best Actress.
Why aren't we complaining that the Oscars and other award shows are like all white?
It's just
Whoops.
white people on being white.
Everybody should be represented.
Why don't we know the difference between appropriation and appreciation?
Why can't we figure out how to make our own pop culture, our own slang, our own cool clothes, instead of stealing other people's cool clothes and then saying that they are our cool clothes?
No!
Isn't that awesome? I love this Beta-Male's face with those womanly problem glasses he's wearing.
I'm assuming that all of the guys in this video have problem glasses. I'm assuming it's just
just the one.
I'm assuming either problem glasses, balding hair, curly hair, and they're none of them can be buff.
There's one good looking. There's one good looking blonde dude.
Why would you
the rest of them are just like horrible. I think a lot of them probably.
I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
I'm Jewish,
This kid this kid's just weird looking. He could be Jewish. I'm not sure. The one with the problem glasses.
Let's just assume, for the sake of argument,
I mean, he could very well be.
I am a Jew. I'm goddamn Jewish.
Everybody okay?
I'm Jewish.
God, that's fucking... I don't know if I can finish this video. I don't know if I can... I actually took my headset off.
How much more do we have?
It's a bad life. What?
Well, there's still... It's only half over. Oh, this fat cuck right here. Hold on, I just want to hear what
this guy's fat, of course.
It's a bad life.
Not
what do
him.
you have against seasoning and spiciness?
That fat fuck he's the one asking about seasoning and what do you have against dieting? You know what we have against seasoning and spiciness? It makes us less chubby than you fat little fucker with these big ass ears. Not that dieting can help those ears, but
Christopher Columbus discover America looking for spices?
I don't know. Did you discover your like fucking comedy career looking for a cheeseburger? You fat piece of shit.
Why do you try to avoid confrontation at all costs?
Why is
Mr. Snarky Man is complaining that we try to avoid confrontation. Come on over, pal. We'll have a confrontation.
Yeah, you want to have a fucking confrontation.
You want to have a fucking confrontation.
Why do we have to avoid confrontation at all costs? Really, I think that also magnifies how safe this is.
Yes, exactly. Why aren't you all murderous psychopaths like the other races around here? You have to.
He's also saying is like, why are you afraid to make eye contact with black people when you're on public transportation?
I don't know. Probably because they will stab you.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that this guy, when he rides public transportation with a bunch of black people's eyes on his shoes or his phone the whole fucking time.
Yeah, right.
And if it's not true, I will fucking eat my hat.
He'll probably eat it for you.
Crazy that I'm white and I have a big butt.
Why do you make such a big deal when somebody doesn't want to hike?
Oh my God, fat guy has a problem with people who don't hike. Oh, I get it. That's from personal experience. People will ask him to hike, and he's like, "No, I'll hike over to the pizza place."
Why do you keep talking about reverse racism?
I'm sorry.
Hold on a second. Okay, look, there have been times when people have asked me to go hiking, I've been like, no, fuck you.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't go hiking. It's like camping.
I have a car.
I know.
I don't know. I think it to a certain extent that shows you a certain amount of feeling like feeling pressure to be conformist, right? We're not like actually being self-confident enough to be like.
Well, the other thing is coming through that is like he's acting as if people talk to him. No one talks to him. Those are such old stereotype jokes.
And also
hiking.
the whole hiking thing is totally right out of literally out of the Stuff White People Like website.
Exactly.
And like the whole guilting people who don't want to hike is like a specific entry on that site that I specifically remember.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's
I remember it. Yeah, hiking and not. Yeah, I remember there was. It's not worth it.
And look, if you've ever been around like mass holes or people from Vermont, like you probably will have experienced this before. But like, so what? If you don't want to hike, look, you know what? Not today. If you're gonna bother me about it, fuck you. But like this guy, I don't know.
No,
maybe this guy should go.
I'd rather absorb more calories than I burn today, as per usual.
Yeah,
I feel really white.
The question he really wants to ask is, white people, why don't you ever ask me to do anything? Why can't I be your friend, white people? That's what that guy's really asking, because nobody ever asked him.
You guys are making me feel really white because I love hiking.
Yeah, that's great.
White people, how come we don't punch random people in the face?
Why don't we have a knockout game,
must not have any authentic culture. Because we don't have
white
video.
That's why I
face randomly.
How come all of our kids have fathers?
Who posted that joke in the group?
Why do you assume
that's an old
only
classic.
other races?
Sorry, hang on. This fucking page, it got shut down. It knew what we were doing. It just reloaded on me. Sorry about that.
Who posted that joke in the group about the new Star Wars movie? How the black character's not going to get an "I am your father" scene.
Oh, easy, dude. You're getting a little bit.
We didn't get to that topic yet, bro.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
Edit.
There's like you get edit
Sometimes I steal jokes like that in the group and say them later on. You gotta.
I steal jokes all the time, but
of course.
I'm actually notorious for it. People have criticized me about it, but what is that joke about? Like, I don't know. It's like a really old racist joke about blacks. About a
pepperoni pizza.
No, just something like, the white kid can at least say like,
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks. Hi, Dad. Thanks, officer.
Oh yeah, those are two things that white kids can say that black kids can say. Thanks, officer. Thanks, Dad. But like, there's that meme where it's like the black kid is like he's making like a cream pie, like he's like gonna prank Dad, and he's waits by the door with the pie. It's like day 1, day 2, 183.
It's funny because it was originally a video, and the video was infinitely better. Because he's like, I'm totally gonna prank my dad, and he, gets the pie in his hand, and then he's sitting there waiting, and then it's like 25 seconds of nothing with him waiting till you realize no one's coming. It just ends.
Wow, I figured that was cut out of something to turn that.
No,
I figured that was out of context. That's pretty good.
That's pretty funny.
that Dindu willingly did that joke. That's pretty funny.
Yes.
So we've come to the subtitle in this video talking about race, and we get our first confirmed commune Jew fuckface to say something.
Why do you keep talking about reverse racism? That is not a thing.
Oh my
Jew
God.
I agree.
That guy sounds Jewish.
You're right?
Yeah.
You didn't see his face.
I can hear it in his voice. No.
Yeah, people in power. Racism is about oppression. Sorry, white people have not been oppressed.
Why are you too afraid to speak up when someone says something?
The Jew just told you that white people have never been oppressed, Goyim.
You've never been oppressed, Goy.
But look,
there's no oppression here, Goyim.
But it's so funny that.
What does that even?
Of course, it's really funny that they got a Jew to say that they actually didn't have like a blonde-haired like.
Well, no, he looks white to me. This is the thing that's slowly unraveling a little bit out there. I hope is that people are realizing that Jewish guys aren't white guys.
Yeah,
it's kind of getting like I know
they don't think of themselves as such. So
they do when it's advantageous. They identify either way. I've seen that many times.
In this
Tim
video,
is white like me.
It's convenient for this guy to be like pretending he's white so he can like hit people with like really really basic, and that's like a really very basic.
I know, and that's why it's so infuriating.
Yeah,
it's like, why? What do you mean? Why people have never been? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Like, what you mean as of yesterday or what?
Yeah, well, ever like in history ever, like no white person ever.
It's like really not even like that. I say not even that long ago. We had beat the shit out of the Irish class, but oops, they flip it around in a few years because they have agency. So
well, that's the other thing. He'll say that at the same time as they talk about how like 120 years ago Irish were discriminated against in the U.S. Right, which they were. But it's also like, who fucking cares? Like that whole talking point.
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Right. It's
like,
bad. There's zero evidence to support the idea that if a group of people was financially, culturally, whatever, oppressed hundreds of years ago, that in a first world civilization, there's zero reason they shouldn't be able to bounce back. None at all. Especially here. With fucking capitalism. But
do white people always complain about reverse racism? I mean, that was his first point. Well,
that's a cuck-servative point. Is you're a reverse racist? Like they're trying to turn the moral stigma onto the other guy there.
I don't know that they actually use that word though. I think that what conservatives do.
I have rarely heard.
Okay, here's the thing.
Reverse racism. It's like fucking retard.
Yeah, but what conservatives do, and what I've heard them do, and we've all heard them do, is they just apply the concept of racism like universally. To like they think it's like they define it as like discrimination against people based on their race.
Right.
Like you know what I mean, and they apply that universally. So if a black person is like either hateful or discriminatory towards a white person. Like the whole thing is like black people can't discriminate against white people, which is kind of true because they don't have any property or power to they don't.
I mean that's exactly the argument he's saying. Right, that's why he's saying white people are not oppressed.
On some level, I get what they're saying, but I also just don't give a fuck. Because it's not a fucking oppression Olympics. It's not who was oppressed more.
Well, if you don't give a fuck, you're a bad person.
It doesn't fucking matter.
You're a bad person and a racist if you don't give a fuck. That's the thing. You need to bow down and you have to feel bad. And you have to atone.
Right. It's indoctrinate. It's the first steps of indoctrination into the original sin.
But whenever I hear somebody saying like reverse racism doesn't exist, I know that they have been imbibing some cultural Marxist talking points because rarely do I hear people that complain about like non-whites being racist against whites. Do they use that term? That's a cultural Marxist term that they're taught. They're taught this shit when they go take, their master's degree in dildo studies